It was the first week of summer when Leo and Mira's parents announced they would be staying by the sea. The little village of Windmere was quiet, with cottages overlooking the harbor, the smell of salt and fish heavy in the air. Leo was 22, tall, clever, and always poking his nose into things. Mira, his closest friend since childhood, was 21, thoughtful, bookish, with a curious habit of scribbling codes and puzzles in her diary. With them was their cousin Tom, a sturdy lad with a laugh that could carry across the harbor. And of course, there was Nibbles, Myra's sleek black cat, who insisted on going wherever they went. The first days were spent swimming, fishing, and exploring the rocky cliffs. They packed endless sandwiches, bottles of ginger beer, and fruitcake, always coming home with salty hair and sunburnt noses. But one afternoon, while wandering the harbor, they overheard two men talking in low, urgent voices by the docks. The island shows only when the tide pulls back. No map has it. But the journal? Hush, fool. Don't let them hear. The men spotted Leo, Mira, and Tom watching, and quickly strode away. What island? Tom muttered. And what journal? Myra's eyes sparkled. Doesn't it sound like an adventure? The next day, the three convinced the kindly fisherman Mr. Hawkins to lend them his small sailing boat. Stay near the coast, he warned. Storms rise quickly this time of year. And mind the rocks. They've claimed more boats than I can count. But the trio barely heard him. Their hearts thumped with the thrill of discovery. They packed sandwiches, chocolate, lemonade, and of course Nibbles, who padded onto the boat with his tail flicking as though he knew a grand adventure lay ahead. By afternoon, the sea had turned rough. The wind howled, waves crashed, and the little boat spun helplessly. Hold on, Leo shouted. Myra clutched the mast, Tom gripped the tiller, and Nibbles yowled miserably. At last, with one mighty wave, the boat was flung onto a sandy shore. They were drenched, shivering, but alive. And when the mist cleared, they saw it. An island rising tall and dark from the waves, no village, no lighthouse, no name. They explored cautiously, climbing over rocks until Mira noticed something strange. In the hollow of an old tree lay a leather-bound journal, its cover weathered by sea air. She opened it. The pages were filled with codes, drawings, and riddles. The first message read, "The treasure lies where the sun dies." Leo frowned. That means west, where the sun sets. Mira turned the page. This time, the words had changed. Only one returns. They shivered. Just then, Nibbles hissed. From the cliffs above, two shadows moved, the same men from the harbor. The men slid down the rocks. One was tall and thin, with a hooked nose. The other was heavy-set, his shirt stretched tight over his belly. "Well, well," sneered the thin man. "Looks like you found the journal for us." "Hand it over," growled the other. Leo quickly stuffed the journal into his rucksack. "Run," he yelled. They dashed through the trees, Nibbles darting ahead. The men gave chase, their footsteps heavy behind them. The three burst into a clearing just as the sun dipped low. To their astonishment, the ground trembled and cracked, revealing stone steps spiraling down into the earth. Tom gasped. A staircase. It was hidden under the ground. Mira clutched the journal. The riddle said, "When the sun dies." The men were nearly upon them. They didn't think twice. Down the steps they ran, into the island's heart. The stairway led into a cavern lit by glowing moss. Strange carvings lined the walls, symbols and cipher marks Mira had never seen. At the far end was a massive stone door with 4 wheels carved into it. Each wheel bore letters, numbers, and shapes. A cipher gadget, Myra breathed. Behind them, the villains' voices echoed. "We're coming. You can't hide forever." Leo shoved a rock against the stair entrance. "Quick, Myra, solve it." She flipped through the journal, pages fluttering. At last she found it. The key is the sea. Count the waves. Mira thought hard. 7. It must be 7. She turned each wheel until the 7th symbol aligned. The door groaned, stone grinding against stone, and slowly creaked open. Inside lay a cavern glittering with gold coins, jeweled goblets, and ancient relics. At the center stood a pedestal with a strange cipher box covered in more codes. Tom's eyes went wide. We're rich. But Mira's heart sank. Another message shimmered across the pedestal. Only one returns. Behind them, the villains had broken through. The fat man shoved Tom aside. The thin one grabbed at the box. But the moment he touched it, the ground shook violently. The chamber roared, stones falling from the ceiling. It's cursed, Mira cried. Leo dragged Mira back. There must be a way out. The journal's last page glowed faintly. Love unites, greed divides, Mira shouted over the rumble. It has not meant for one person. It has meant for those who work together. She and Leo pressed their hands on the box at the same time. Instantly, the cipher wheels spun, glowing brightly. The curse broke. The villains, scrambling over coins, were swallowed by the collapsing floor. Their screams echoed as the stones sealed shut. The treasure melted away into dust, leaving only the box. Inside lay a single golden compass, pointing steadily north. The compass guided them through a narrow tunnel, out into fresh air, just as the island shook and crumbled behind them. Their boat, miraculously, had been pushed back into the water by the tide. They leapt aboard, Nibbles mewing with relief, and sailed back toward the lights of Windmere. Mr. Hawkins nearly dropped his pipe when he saw them stumble ashore. By the saints, you three, where have you been? You look as though you've seen a ghost. Mira laughed shakily. Not ghosts. Codes, curses, and treasure. She clutched the compass. It glowed faintly in her palm. Whatever that island was, she whispered, it chose us to survive. And though none of the adults believed their tale, Leo, Mira, and Tom knew one thing for certain. The cryptographer's island would never appear on any map again.